We are diving deep today into one of the biggest challenges for any leader right now.
Oh, absolutely.
It's that massive organizational change being driven by AI. And for this, we've pulled the essential insights from Kevin Bernstein's latest Volume 39 of the Change Chronicle.
Which is titled Words of Fire, a great title.
It really is.
And this piece, Tending the Fire, AI, and the Art of Illumination, it completely reframes the whole conversation.
How so?
Well, we spend all this time talking about the tech, the models, the chips, right?
Yeah.
But the mission here, what we want to extract, is Bernstein's main insight.
Which is?
That the AI transformation isn't failing because the technology is bad. It's failing because of bad human leadership.
Absolutely. I mean, the core finding in here, the thing that just sort of jumps off the page.
Yeah, it's pretty startling.
It is. It's that the vast majority of AI project failures, they're not technical hiccups at all. They come from a failure to explain, a failure of illumination.
Exactly. Bernstein argues that companies are demanding their people just adopt these tools that are fundamentally, opaque. They're asking them to see in the dark.
To see in the dark. I like that.
And then when people hesitate or things go wrong, leadership just slaps a label on it. Resistance.
Yeah.
But what we need to see is that the reaction it's completely rational.
I think the way he opens Volume 39 is just brilliant. He grounds this huge technological idea in something so visceral.
The cabin.
The cabin, yeah. Late November, Olympic National Forest, and just the simple act of tending a real wood fire.
It's a beautiful scene. He's watching his wife, who he calls a fire-stoking expert, which I love, and he has this realization.
That fire isn't an on-off switch.
No, it's a relationship. It needs constant attention and patience and balance. If you treat it like it's automatic, it goes out.
And that one observation becomes this perfect lens for looking at AI adoption. He breaks it down into 3 elements, perfectly balanced.
Right. If you mess with any one of them, too much or too little, the whole system just collapses.
So let's unpack that.
Okay, so the first element for the fire is heat. You need that initial high temperature to even get it going.
And in an organization, that translates to?
Sustained urgency.
Okay, so when we talk about urgency, I immediately think of panic. How does Bernstein draw the line between, productive heat and just sheer managerial panic?
That's a great question, and he's very clear on it. Panic is a flash fire. It's just mandates without resources. It burns out fast.
Got it.
Productive heat, or real urgency, is sustained attention from the top. It means leaders are putting real budget, real time, and their own visible commitment behind it.
So it's not just a memo.
Exactly. If leaders just pay lip service, the fire slowly goes out. The project becomes optional.
That makes a lot of sense. So the second element his wife was managing was oxygen. You need that airflow, that space. What does that look like in a company?
It's collaboration. And this is critical. It's the space to experiment.
Yep.
If you starve a fire of oxygen, it smothers. If you starve your teams of psychological safety, of room to just tinker with these tools,
they retreat.
They retreat. They need sandboxes, dedicated time, places where they can try things and fail without feeling like their job is on the line.
I really appreciate that focus on safety. So often companies say they want innovation, but they punish the very mistakes that lead to real understanding.
They want the fire, but they don't want any of the smoke, precisely.
Yep. Okay, so that brings us to the third and maybe the most obvious element.
Refuel.
The logs, the raw material.
In the AI context, fuel means resources, training, and specific relatable examples.
And this is where Bernstein is particularly biting, I think. He says organizations are throwing logs on the pile and wondering why nothing's catching.
Yes, they treat it like a checkbox. We did the training, check, why don't they get it?
Right.
Success for them is how many licenses they bought, not whether anyone actually understands it. Good fuel has to be specific.
But not just a generic online course?
No. It's showing Jane, in accounting, how this specific tool makes her daily work easier. It's having real people available to help, not just a faceless help desk. Without the right fuel at the right time, you never get past that initial spark.
And his point is that real mastery of a fire or an AI tool, it's an intuition you build over time. It's a relationship.
And that's what's missing. We deploy the tech, and then we just walk away. We expect competence to just magically appear.
And it doesn't.
It doesn't. You have to stay with it. You have to listen, adjust the resources, feel the heat.
This is where the narrative takes a really powerful turn. He moves from the fire to this metaphor of light.
Or the lack of it. Yeah, this part is. It's so illustrative. He talks about 2 pictures, taken from the exact same cabin doorway.
Okay.
In the first one, taken at night, the door just opens to this impenetrable black void. Just darkness.
You know the lake and the mountains are out
You
now.
know they're there. And his point is all that potential, that beauty gone just because you can't see it?
No, of course not. The reality hasn't changed.
Exactly. And then the second image, same spot, but during the day. And it's this stunning panorama. Everything is clear.
The only thing that changed was the illumination.
The conditions for seeing.
Yeah.
And that's the devastating parallel for organizations. The leaders can see the daylight view. They get the potential of AI.
And they get so frustrated with their teams who are stuck with the night view, that black void.
Yes, they see resistance, they see change fatigue, but they don't see their own failure to provide the light.
It's an elimination failure. That's a powerful way to put it.
And when people are asked to move forward into a space they can't see, their hesitation isn't laziness. He calls it rational self-preservation in an irrational situation.
They're not resisting the change itself. They're resisting being asked to move forward blind.
That is the reframing we all need to have. If I don't get how this new tool works or what it means for my job, my brain it fills that darkness with the worst-case scenarios.
Fear of being incompetent or obsolete.
And the expert, the person who can see the daylight view, their job is to provide the light. That is the real work.
And that work of explanation, it's not dumbing it down.
No. It is, and I'm quoting here, creating the conditions for someone else to see what you see. And that means the explainer has to dismantle their own assumptions.
What does that dismantling actually look like? Because experts often forget what it was like before they understood something.
It means you have to remember that your understanding, which you built over months, is not shared by someone who got an email about this tool yesterday.
So no acronyms.
No acronyms. It means explaining the why before you even touch the how. If you can't remember what it was like to be in the dark, you can't light the way for anyone else. You're just lecturing in the daylight to people who are trapped at night.
And as he notes, fear doesn't respond to corporate cheerleading.
Or mandates, no.
You can't just say, don't worry, AI is great. Fear responds to one thing.
Illumination. Patient, persistent, compassionate illumination.
You don't need a map when you're lost in the dark.
You need someone with a lantern who's willing to walk with you. Slowly.
So let's talk about walking away from the fire. This is where it gets into that psychological trap of believing AI can just be set it and forget it.
The magical thinking.
Yeah.
And that thinking leads directly to these catastrophic failures he cites. We've all seen the headlines.
Right. He mentions the airline with the rogue chatbot.
Or the real estate company that lost, over $500 million from automated systems that just went off the rails?
Can we anchor those a bit? The chatbot example?
Mm-hmm.
What does that tell us about not tending the fire?
That's a perfect example of no tending, zero human oversight. The system, trying to be helpful, just started making up customer policy.
Oh, wow.
It was offering refunds and deals the airline would never authorize. When you let these systems operate without checks, they wander. And it costs a fortune.
And the huge real estate loss.
That's usually algorithmic decision-making, asset valuation, automated trading, where a tiny, uncorrected error gets magnified 1,000,000 times over.
Because leadership just trusts the AI's output as gospel.
They treat it as infallible. They deploy this immense power and then just walk away from the controls with no guardrails, no audits, no humans saying, wait, this number makes no sense.
And the most insidious result of walking away is probably one we see everywhere.
Shadow AI.
The proliferation of shadow AI.
What's so fascinating here is that shadow AI, employees using unauthorized tools like ChatGPT for work, it's the ultimate signal of an explanation failure.
How so?
They use those tools because the official corporate ones are too complex or too restrictive. It's a desperate attempt to create their own light and their own heat because the official fire is so poorly tended.
So Bernstein confirms it.
Correct.
Something like 80% of these project failures are people problems.
It's problems of relationship, explanation, comprehension, not the tech. We deploy the system, and we're just shocked that the relationship with the user isn't immediate.
So tending the fire isn't glamorous work.
No, it's persistent, daily work. It's checking in. It's actively seeking out those resistant voices. Because the person who's struggling with the tool, they might be the only one who's seeing a huge, overlooked flaw in how it was deployed.
So it requires leadership to normalize safe failure.
And not just the poster on the wall that says fail fast.
Right.
The real practical version. If you try this and it doesn't work, you will not be punished. We will learn from it. Together.
And accepting that this work is it's never really done. It's a permanent cultural shift, not a project with an end date.
The successful organizations get that. They realize AI doesn't solve human problems. It just amplifies them.
Which brings us to the profound irony that he ends with. The more automated we get,
The more we need uniquely human capabilities.
judgment, wisdom,
Right.
empathy.
Exactly. AI can predict, but it can't build trust. It can't explain its own reasoning in a way that builds confidence. It can't sense the quiet anxiety of a user who's completely lost.
So the more we use this tech, the better we have to get at being human with each other.
It's demanding that we refine our humanity. Better communication, better collaboration. The real success metric isn't performance, it's the quality of the culture.
So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? The journey here is less about becoming a tech expert.
And more about cultivating an honest, resilient relationship with these new systems.
And that relationship has to be built through continuous engagement, not a sudden mandate.
The big takeaway from Volume 39 is this. AI is the catalyst, but the focus has to be on building a patient, persistent, compassionate culture. We are the fire.
We are the ones who have to bring the illumination. You can't expect people to just spontaneously develop vision because you installed a new tool.
The responsibility rests with those holding the lantern.
And that leaves us with Bernstein's final provocative question, one for you to really reflect on.
What fire are you tending? Are you walking away, just assuming it will last? Or are you staying with it, adjusting, learning, adapting, for as long as it takes?
That commitment, that is the work. We hope this deep dive into Kevin Bernstein's Words of Fire has given you some needed illumination for your own path.
We really encourage you to reflect on this, and as always, please submit topics and questions for future deep dives.
And if this discussion helped you find some clarity, please subscribe, like, and share it with someone else who's trying to keep that organizational fire burning. Until next time, stay well informed.